Today, we're going to be looking at the must-start players for Week 5 by going matchup by matchup, game by game. Just looking at the game scripts, looking at the top players in each game, and just identifying how the fantasy points can be scored. We're going to be talking about a lot of players like we do every single week with this video. On top of that, if you have a start-sit question, drop it in the comment section below. I will get to them late Saturday night, and I will answer all of them. Also, please try and help some other people in the comment section as well. And you also need to click that subscribe button because we're doing this every week. So if you got a question next week, just find this video on Saturday around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and just drop it in the comment section. On top of that, we're covering the waiver wire every day. We're doing deep dives on players. And then we're using the videos themselves to help you set your lineups. Click that button. Stop missing out. All of this is free. But the first game we're looking at here, the Jets and Vikings, over under 40. And I'm going to say this. We got some okay matchups on the Sunday slate, but we got some weird matchups as well. This is one of them. The Jets can slow things down, make the game scripts weird. The Vikings can do that on the other end. So it really depends if the Vikings can push the script their way or if the Jets can push it their way. Because if it's the Jets' way, nobody's scoring many points. And if it's the Vikings' way, then the Jets have to play catch-up. So we got to root for the Vikings to push the game script. If that happens, Justin Jefferson's going off. Aaron Jones is always getting workload and opportunities. He's a guy you're just starting every week. Doesn't matter the matchup. Some games will be lower, some games will be higher. But right now the workload's looking good for Aaron Rodgers. Run backs on the other side of the ball here. Garrett Wilson's hard to trust. But in a matchup where there's a 50% chance that the Jets have to push the pace a little bit more, we know he's going to get targets. Target share will be there. Then it's Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Breece Hall is always a start. Braylon Allen's a guy that you're throwing in your lineups as a hope and prayer that he crosses the goal line. Allen Lazard getting opportunities. You might be looking at him for your flex. Maybe not. It really depends on what happens with the game script of this matchup. Panthers and Bears. And I think this game's just going to be weird because you got Caleb Williams and the Bears always in weird games. The Panthers, they've been weird all season long. So why can't this matchup be weird? But Diontae Johnson seems uber safe with Andy Dalton. Chuba Hubbard's the guy in the backfield. Xavier Legette is the guy we're looking at here to step it up and exceed expectations. Jonathan Mingo is a wide receiver on this team, getting a lot of routes ran. That might surprise us somewhere down the line if that continues. On the other side of the ball with the run backs, DJ Moore's getting targets and opportunity. Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze. One of them might do something in this matchup, and the other one will be ho-hum. Can DeAndre Swift ball out again? Because he did not the first 3 games of the season, averaging 1.8 yards per carry. Then last week, goes off in the passing game, gets some long runs. Can we do that again, or is it going to be ugly? That being said, this game's going to be fun to watch because it could be so ugly and so weird and so off ball that you just can't stop looking at the train wreck. Now we're looking at the Browns and the Commanders. In this game, I don't really want to put players in my lineup from this game because the Browns defense is going to slow things down against a rookie quarterback. But that offense for the Commanders can push things. And then the Browns offense is very wacky from week to week. Sometimes you can get fantasy production from them. Some days you can't. Amari Cooper's got the right face here. He's a start for a lot of people, not everybody, but he's getting a lot of targets. The targets are going to give him opportunity. Jerome Ford's going to get carries. Jerry Jeudy's been getting a lot of opportunities. So he's a guy that you're looking at flex, but you're not really liking it. You're not really liking the matchup. But he could be all right. He's running a lot of routes, getting a lot of targets. On the other side of the ball, Terry McLaurin for the deep shot. If he brings in a couple deep shots, he's going to have the money play for fantasy football. We're watching Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. Brian Robinson right now in Sleepers listed as questionable. This is as of Friday night. Austin Eckler might be able to come back and play. We're still watching both these running backs throughout Saturday and early Sunday. But the Ravens and the Bengals. We got a high over-under, but we got a stout Ravens defense. We know the Ravens can run the ball, and we know the Bengals got some weapons. We got Jamar Chase here You're always going to start him, whether he's got 2 legs or no legs. T. Higgins versus Yoshi. Last week it was Higgins. The week before it was Yoshi. The odds say to always go with Higgins, but Yoshi could be a surprise guy in this matchup considering how tough it could be on the offense. Zach Moss versus Chase Brown. Zach Moss if you're chasing the touchdown and volume. Chase Brown if you're chasing that upside, if he can pop off some big runs. And for the Ravens on the run backs, Derrick Henry pretty much. Derrick Henry, pretty much just that. Zay Flowers maybe. I look for him to get a good target share and some opportunity. The tight ends you're leery of. Tight ends are going to tight end. But Zay Flowers might get some good target share in this matchup. Could lead to good fantasy production. Outside of that, it's really hard to really bank on the Ravens passing game. Now you're looking at Bills and Texans. This game should get pushed. This is a game where you're starting everybody. Joe Mixon's out. When I made this, Joe Mixon was kind of dicey. Now he's dicing out, and it's Cam Akers again. Cam Akers if you need the touches. If you need the touches, I do not guarantee it, but there's going to be touches for Cam Akers, maybe like 10 or so. Tank Dell's back. Stephon Diggs getting opportunities. Nico Collins is the man. Is the must start. Stephon Diggs will get his volume. Tank Dell's back. He gets deep volume, so he's either going to hit or he's going to tank. But Tank Dell's got a lot of opportunity here. Run backs. James Cook, as always. Khalil Shakir's out. Keon Coleman might be a sneaky play in this matchup, especially if the game script's pushed and he gets targets downfield. Dalton Kincaid might get more volume with Shakir out since he's very dependable in the passing game. However, Dawson Knox might get a little bit of extra volume as well. When I look at this game script, it's pretty easy. The Texans are going to roll Nico Collins, get him a lot of work. Stephon Diggs will get some. If Tank Dell can hit on the deep ball, he's going to be money. Cam Akers needs the game script and those goal line touches, and he also lost some work the last outing, so he's not a good bet. I really want to see how the Bills spray the ball around in this offense with Shakir out, but I think they're going to try and run the ball pretty heavy to start things out. Now we're looking at the Colts and Jaguars, 46 over-under. Brian Thomas is the man here. He's been rocking solid these last few weeks. Back-to-back games with 9 targets. Christian Kirk's been getting volume too. These 2 wide receivers have been quietly cooking. Travis Etienne versus Tank. Pick your poison there. Evan Ingram's back. And the tight end position's a mess overall, so you may want to roll with that. Looking at the Colts here, Anthony Richardson may or may not play. I hope Flacco does, so these wide receivers are more valuable. Michael Pittman would be, Josh Downs would be. If Flacco's in, you're looking at those wide receivers hard. And Flacco would make Trey Sermon a little bit more valuable because the chains would move a little bit better. Trey Sermon is a running back that you're looking at if you're looking for pure touches. So you're decimated, you're hurt at running back. Trey Sermon stepping in. Expect him to get around 10 or so, maybe a little more, a little less. And you're just hoping those touches do a little something. Crosses the goal line, maybe sees daylight, real easy, so he breaks off a long run. Something like that, but you're not banking on him either. He's just a hope and a prayer. Dolphins at Patriots, and honestly, you don't want to start anybody from this game. HN, Waddle, Tyreek, you just pick one and pray for the best. Run backs from the Patriots. Ramondre versus Antonio Gibson. Looks like Gibson's going to get more work. Looks like he might be the starter or the guy getting the first touch or however they're going to word that once the game starts. When you're looking at the Patriots passing offense, Jalen Polk was running most of the routes and getting the targets last week. Didn't amount for much. Demario Douglas has had his moments. Steer clear, but you have to. Antonio Gibson is going to get more workload, so you may want to gamble on him for more touches. He also catches the ball in the backfield. The Dolphins are going to dolphin. That being said, they are hope and prayer players. Tyreek Hill is a guy that you really can't bench because you know when you do that, he's going to break off those yards after the catch on that big moment, and he's going to make you hate yourself. Jordan Mason and the Niners, Arizona Cardinals here. Interesting matchup. We know where the ball's funneled for the 49ers. Jordan Mason's going to get a lot of touches, so of course you're going to roll with him. Deebo Samuel got a lot of work last week, a lot of routes ran. He's good to go for your lineups. Brandon Ayuk is always questionable for your lineups. He has been a guy you're just thinking about. He is getting a good work rate, but it's not equating to fantasy production. Juwan Jennings has been looking good this year. Can we continue? We got a 50 over under. If this game script pushes, that's going to be a good thing. James Conner is going to get a lot of volume. Is going to get a lot of opportunities. That could be good, but the Niners defense is stout. Again, the touches you're going to want. Marvin Harrison Jr. might get shut down, might get road dogged. However, those targets are there, and you're probably just going to put them in your lineup and just hope for the best. And it could be Michael Wilson or Greg Dortch in this matchup. And if I think about it very hard, I really think it might be a Greg Dortch game, because if they got Marvin Harrison Jr. jacked up over the top, then Greg Dortch might get some extra targets underneath. Due to the tough nature of the 49ers defense, this should be a fun one. This is going to be a game everybody's going to be watching on the late slates. Raiders and Broncos. Only Raiders and Broncos fans are going to be watching this one. 35.5 over under, which is very low. Bo Nix is going to dink and dunk in this matchup. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Not very many plays ran. The Raiders are going to be trucking out Alexander Mattison. He's going to be getting a lot of workload. You got Javonte Williams versus Jaleel McLaughlin. The Raiders give up points to the running backs. Cortland Sutton getting deep targets and a good target share. So you're praying he brings in one or two of those. He did last week, just 60 yards and a touchdown. He did last week, though. Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker, they're going to get targets. They're going to get a good target share. This isn't really the matchup to feel good about them. Jacoby over Trey due to the volume. Trey, maybe if he breaks one loose. Brock Bowers, as always, you're starting him. Alexander Mattison in because Amir White is out for the week. And now we're looking at the Packers and Rams. 49 over under. This is a game where you're starting everybody, and we got a carousel effect with the Rams wide receivers here. Pick your poison. Jordan Whittington was hot last week. Tutu Atwell's been hot over the last two games. Demarcus Robinson runs a lot of routes. He gets some deeper routes, but has been lacking in targets over these last two games. Of course, you're going to start Kyren Williams. And then for the run backs, for the Packers, Dubs is going to be out, personal reasons. Wicks is going to be in. Reed's going to be in. They should be seeing volume. Tucker Kraft's going to be seeing volume at the tight end spot. Tight ends are wonky, so don't look at that as a guarantee. Josh Jacobs, you're watching him because he's been a little bit down in fantasy production as of late, but maybe the volume kicks it in gear for him. Now we're looking at the Giants and Seahawks here. And DK Metcalf is always a guy I look at. And the Seahawks should be up in this game. They should be up in this game. Vegas is saying that with the 6.5 spread here. Kenneth Walker should be a lock in your lineup. JSN versus Lockett. Maybe there's enough volume for one of those guys to really eat. So you're picking your poison there. Run backs on the other team. Devin Singletary is doubtful, so we're looking at Tyrone Tracy as the replacement. Malik Neighbors is out. So now we're looking at more targets going to Wan'Dale Robinson in this matchup. And I look for the Giants to be behind big time in this game, so they might be trying to just throw it deep in this matchup. Might be looking at Slayton, maybe a Jalen Hyatt, sneak in some fantasy points. Don't bank on it. Don't project for it. Don't start for it. Only if you're hurting. Cowboys at the Steelers. The Cowboys offense might struggle in this matchup. They're losing Brandon Cooks. Steelers defense is tough. George Pickens is always good for a basket of touches deep downfield. Brings in a couple. He's going to produce for you. Najee Harris is going to get the touches in this matchup with Jalen Warren out. On the Cowboys side, you're always starting CeeDee Lamb. Look for Jalen Tolbert to get a little extra run in this matchup. Jake Ferguson should be getting some good run too at the tight end spot. But if you have him, you're definitely going to start him no matter what. Rico Dowdle, can he run on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense? Probably not enough for fantasy production. But Saints and Chiefs. A fun game here to set lineups with. Rashee Rice is out. Remember that. Xavier Worthy with a ton of upside and a grand opportunity. Travis Kelce getting the workload. Kareem Hunt is the hot hand out of the backfield, and that's all we can really say about that. Alvin Kamara is like the must start here because teams like to whip the ball out quick against this offense because they can't explore the deep shots, the intermediate shots downfield. But Alvin Kamara good at catching the ball in the flat. I look for him to get a lot of targets in this game, and if he can break loose, the Saints are going to roll. Chris Olave, because of those deep shots, the odds are less likely. Same with Rashid Shaheed. He gets a good target share, and he's been looking good this season with fantasy production. But you're not going to totally bank on it, but you can't look away from it either. But this game's going to be very fun to watch, especially on a Monday night. Those are the Week 5 matchups, the starts, the sits, the must starts, the must bench, whatever you took from that. But let me know your start sit questions in the comment section below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.